Hi everyone, I'm John C. Morley, the host of the JMOR Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Well, hey guys, how are you tonight? It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur, and it is great to be with you again on another fantastic, fabulous Friday. Today, February 23rd, 2024. And yes, this is the JMOR Tech Talk Show. I am your host, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. How do you guys dig my hat? If you guys do want them, we do have them. You guys know what that means. It means you can scan the QR code, or you can just go to, like my hat's saying, believe, then it says me, then it says achieve, ACHIEVE, and then .com. So just go there, like, love, and support my content. Also, be sure to go to TikTok and help us get followers there, because we want to reach over 1,000 followers so we can stream live to that platform as well. We have an amazing show for you guys. I think you're really going to appreciate it. Lots of great things. But let's get to our topic. Here we are, everyone. Exploring the latest in digital dynamics. We're on series 3, which means we're in the 3rd year. Yeah, I know. Wow. And we're on show number 8 in the 3rd year, because we're a weekly show. For those of you that do want daily content, you can go to believemeachieve.com and check out my daily show, which is Inspirations for Your Life. I also have a brand new show called Behind the Mic with John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, which airs every single Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern on iHealth Radio. So definitely check that out. All right, let's get right into this, shall we? All right, here we go. So first thing, ladies and gentlemen, is OpenAI. Meta and other tech giants unite to combat the AI election interference. So what does all this really mean? Well, I think the biggest thing is that they all realize it's a problem. And, we've got companies like Google, we've got companies like Amazon, we've got companies like Bing, right? Instagram, Facebook, right? Meta, X, which was Twitter before, right? And even TikTok, that are starting to realize that this is very serious. And so if we don't start now to make sure that the election is not going to be derailed, and it's really sad when people use technology in a bad manner to get results that are not deserved. So I think it's really great that they're all actually putting their differences aside and realizing that they need to come together and sign this bill to prevent AI interference of the election that's coming up this year. So, the rapid growth of AI creates text, images, and video in seconds. But what people don't realize is it causes a lot of fakes. And in fact, there was a gentleman, I was just reading about this today, that actually was a magician, and he actually got hired to create the deep fake of President Joe Biden. So I think that's interesting, but a quote I want to share with you from the Global Affairs at Meta says, "I think the utility of this accord is the breadth of the companies signing up to it." This was according to Nick Clegg. And he says, quote, "It's all good and well if individual platforms develop new policies and detection providences, labeling, watermarking, and so on, but unless there's a wider commitment to do so in a shared interoperable way, we're going to be stuck in a hodgepodge of different commitments." Clegg said this as well. So I think we have to definitely have this consortium, just like, we have, the W3. I'm sure you guys remember W3. Do you guys remember W3? So W3, the big, web consortium. And I think it's not just a case It's actually the W3C is what we call it, the formal name. And it's the World Wide Web Consortium, and it develops standards and guidelines to help everyone build a web based on principles of accessibility, internationalization, privacy, and security. And I think it's good we have this, but we don't have anything like this in the AI world, but I think it's coming. So I wanted to let you guys know about that and what's going on. Now, this is a sad one, but I'm happy to see that this finally got some attention. Italy, yes, mandates TikTok to remove the French scar challenge videos. What the heck is this nonsense all about? Well, there was this challenge put up to create more challenge videos. And basically, AGCOM, not too long ago, said it had forced social media app TikTok to remove some videos showing young people performing a dangerous practice known as French scar. The challenge involves pinching your cheeks to leave a lasting bruise on your cheekbone. And it became popular among young Italian users of the app last year, prompting a very deep, thorough investigation by Italy's antitrust authority. I mean, I think it's terrible how a lot of these fads, there were fads on TikTok that many people wound up taking their lives over. I mean, you think it's all fun and games, but you have to realize something. The people creating these challenges, okay, they don't care about you. They don't care about me. They care about getting more followers. And I think if we're doing this in an unethical manner, or we're asking people to do something that is not moral, or to do something that could potentially harm ourselves or harm others, I think it shouldn't be allowed. But hey, TikTok's really not taking responsibility on this. Italy had to step in to get them to do this. So I'm not really in love with the way TikTok's handling that. But hey, at least they're taking them down. And kudos to Italy, because I think more people need to get involved with forcing TikTok to take down challenges that are going to cause people to have harm, either physically, mentally, emotionally, to themselves and others. You know what happens? A lot of these challenges go on TikTok, and kids think they're fun or they're funny, and then they do them, and then they're hurt or they're rushed to the emergency room or all kinds of crazy things, or worse, they die, right? I mean, look what happened on Facebook not too long ago with Mr. Mark Zuckerberg not taking responsibility. I'm not going to go back on that right now, but that's a pet peeve of mine. So I think we have to realize that social media is a good tool, but when it's used in an appropriate manner, it's not a good or a bad tool. It's how we choose to apply it that makes it so. All right, guys, jumping on to our next topic tonight is the TSA introducing a new self-checkout for the TSA screenings. So what's this actually going to be about? Well, if you've ever traveled through the airport, and no, I'm not talking that you basically go through, the airport like you're going to check out at a grocery store, but it is on the same line. Of course, they have self-checkout at many of the stores there. We've seen that for years. This is going to allow travelers, and they're going to start this with the pre-check passengers only for TSA pre-check, but it will be rolled out into more areas, such as the regular passenger check, not just the TSA pre-check. So they have launched this basically this past January 2024 at the Harry Reid International Airport. And so it's in a beta test right now where they have like an avatar. It walks you through, where to put your stuff, how to put it there. If you're going through the scanners and you find something in your pocket, where you can actually self-resolve by coming out and ask you with something in your pocket, so you can take it out, put it out, go back in, and you can self-resolve without getting the assistance or need to have help from a TSO, a transportation safety officer. Yeah, the TSO name is becoming very, very popular. But the question is the TSA self-check going to make travel easier or not? I think what we're going to find with all of this is it's going to be a mess, because a lot of people, regardless of their age, I think they're not going to understand how to use technology, even though it's going to be so blatantly obvious of how to do it, like click here, click there. How many times do you go to like a Home Depot and you're waiting 20 minutes because the person didn't click on pay, right? I mean, maybe the vendors have to be a little more specific to tell you to hit that button or flash. maybe. But I see this to be a nightmare in the beginning because there's just going to be a lot of bottlenecks. The big thing that they're hoping to do with this is to basically make travel easier, safer, and faster. But I don't think that's going to happen in the very beginning. So I'm sorry about that. So you might be asking, hey, John, so how does the TSA, how does if you're asking this question, a lot of you are probably asking the question. So how does the TSA self checkout work? All right, so let me see if I can give you like a rundown of it. So the way it works is, you're standing in line, okay, and it's a self kiosk basically that's very similar to fast food and sit down restaurants, and it basically is to guide the passengers through the trusted traveler program to complete the security screening, right? And they're hoping that people will be able to follow these steps. They're going to make them easy. Of course, there's going to be challenges. And the other problem is that it's going to take a while, because if people don't know how to do this, then there could be a nightmare of, taking forever to wait for the person in front of you to realize that, they haven't finished their check. So I think this is going to be a little bit of a problem for a lot of people. Not to say that it cannot get resolved. I'm not going to say that it can't get resolved. But what I am going to tell you is that it's going to be some issues. Yeah, the TSA self-checkout will have issues. And the self-checkout style, okay, is basically, like I said, has an avatar, it has a machine, and it's going to kind of walk you through what to do, where to go, where to put your bags, and basically not needing the assistance of a TSO unless intervention is required or the system cannot resolve things. So I don't know. I think we're going to have to see what happens. But I know a lot of these people are wanting it because you know why? It's going to get rid of a lot of jobs. So that's a bad thing too. And then you're also going to take out that human element of going through the TSA transportation safety, administration's security line. I think it's going to be a problem. I think a lot of people think that, you just move through quickly. But if somebody doesn't know how to use a computer, if somebody doesn't know how to click on the green button or, put your bag on the counter. How many times have you been in a store and it tells you, please take the item out of the bagging area before continuing? And you don't know what the bagging area is. So you keep scanning and then it becomes more of a mess. And then it flags a button. Then you got to wait for somebody to come over and it just becomes a mess. And then you have everybody all upset because they can't check out. So I feel that it's going to have to be so keep it simple, stupid. But we've seen how things have rolled out before. We have seen this. And we know that whenever they roll things out, there are problems. I mean, this is not a surprise or should be a shock to anyone. It's going to be a problem. So there's also going to be the increased risk of theft. There's high upfront costs. There's less human contact. And there's customer confusion and lots of equipment issues. So now somebody could take your valuables. I mean, it just seems to me like it's not really well thought out yet. Can you get in trouble for not scanning at self-checkout? Yeah, you could be charged with theft. If at the time store security did not stop you, it's unlikely they will pursue the matter. So this is what happens in a store, right? But in the self-checkout lanes, in the airport, it's not really theft. It'll be considered a federal violation that you've actually went through the line. And that would be worse than theft, right? Because that'd be a federal issue. So people say to me all the time, John, I went through the line at Kroger's or Publix or Stop and Shop, and I realized that I didn't scan an item. I was at the store. I realized after the fact that I left without paying for an item in my hand. I was talking on the phone and was really honestly just forgot to pay for that item. In asking a few people, they have left and know that they could have known but didn't apprehend me. But instead, they could have the police visit me later because they have recorded my information on camera. So I think the biggest issue is there is no room for error. You've seen the things before. Unknown item in the boarding area. Okay, and this is what we're going to see: unknown item in the boarding area, like unknown item in the bagging area. Right? Remember, we're seeing that in some of the latest, let's say, stories. The trends of technological work is seeming to make a difference, but I think it's going to be more of a problem before it gets better. So maybe the next time you fly, you're required to screen yourself at a security checkpoint. The TSA is testing out this new system. And again, I remember even going to the airport just the other day, and they're using self e-gates. Now, of course, this sounds very simple, right? You have your pass on your phone, or you have your paper boarding pass. First of all, if you have the pass, you have to scan the paper. If you have it on the phone, you have to make sure your phone's at a higher brightness, or it won't read. And then once you get it scanned, then you go through, and then you have to wait a second for the gates to close and then reopen again. What I noticed is that it doesn't actually go any slower than a person could walk through. It's about the same rate that it would take somebody to walk through, because I was timing this a few times. So we can't argue that it makes the process slower as long as people are actually doing what they're supposed to, which is constantly scanning and moving through. Now, the TSA said, and I quote, "This program is intended to decrease the load on officers, freeing them up for more important duties. The goal of the system is to make travel process more efficient and free up officers to perform other duties according to the TSA materials and the so-called screening at speed program." Yes, that's what they call it, the TSA screening at speed. So with more and more people flying all the time, the agency is trying to screen people quickly without increasing the number of TSA officers, known as TSOs. So travelers will use passenger and carry-on screening systems at individual consoles, or screening lanes themselves reduce the number of pat-downs and bag inspections, and TSOs need to perform them. But I got to tell you something. I still do a manual pat-down. I do not like going through those systems. I think I told you before that we have found that actually the M-Wave technology, forget whether it was showing X-rated pictures, which has obviously been fixed from a few years ago from the scatter technology. When you scan, it's been shown, they had this test done, a study in Mexico not too long ago, that over 95% of the people had their double-stranded DNA double-stranded DNA actually unzipped. So really what that meant is it was killing their double-stranded DNA. And you might say, well, John, what's the big deal of that? Well, first of all, it will affect reproduction, so that will actually be the same in the reproduced person. But also, if you had a skill, let's say that you were a crackerjack pitcher, and that was a trait in you, but that double-stranded DNA for that gene got unzipped, well, you won't even be able to pick up a ball if you're lucky. So I feel that I get where they're going, and I know why they want to do this, but I think that there's got to be a lot more information available, and I think that it's too new right now. I think there's going to be lots of issues, what's been happening, and they announced not too long ago that they awarded contracts of over a few $1 billion. And so obviously there's financial costs, right? That's coming into play here. And of course, there's going to be a massive learning curve with this. And it's not going to be a learning curve with screener personnel. It's going to be a lot more of, how does the system work? Is it working properly? The concept or the proof of concept seems very simple, but is it really going to work well? It's going to be a learning curve with all the passengers. So already self-service boarding gates at airport terminals are creating boarding delays at New York's JFK Airport, and all travelers are required to do this as they scan their ticket. So again, they're trying to make things easier, but I feel that this is not the right pathway. So the MicroX self-screening pod includes a baggage scanner right and a body scanner to the left. And the scanning at speed program is part of this phenomenon that they want people to start using. I still am going to go through the manual pat down because I value my body and my cells. So with financial and human issues at hand, the role of the program will be small at first, and they'll be getting feedback before they make changes. Now, like the self-ordering kiosks at fast food and sit-down restaurants, self-service screening allows passengers in the Trusted Traveler program to complete the security screening process on their own. Now, they're doing this for the TSA pre-check, but I think what's going to happen is we're going to see this rolled out into not just the Trusted Traveler program, but we're going to see this in a lot more areas. Okay. So I just feel that, I mean, I think the technology is great, but I think it's just not ready to be rolled out just as quickly. All right. So I don't know if you guys know what an emoji is, but before I get into emojis, do you know what an SOS is? So what is, if I asked you guys this, what is an SOS, or what does SOS mean? If I asked you this question, what does SOS actually stand for? Well, it stands for Save Our Ship. It is a Morse code sequence of 3 dits, 3 dats, and another 3 dits. The 3 dits, 3 dats, and 3 dits. The 3 dits, which would be the short ones, dit, 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 and 3 dats, dat, 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 and then dit, dit, dit. So dit, 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 dat, 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 dit, dit, dit is SOS. So now you learn something. You learn Morse code. You didn't even think you were going to learn that today. So dit, 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 dat, 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 dit, dit, dit is Save Our Ship. And it was coined by the sailors to signal for help when a vessel was in any type of distress. When we think of SOS, the police have another meaning for SOS, and it's Save Our Souls. This is the same signal. It's SOS. It's dit, 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 dat, 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 dit, dit, dit. And the SOS distress signal is a sequence of 3, basically 3 dots, which is a dit, 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 dat, 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 dit, dit, dit. So dits or dots without any spaces. And in International Morse code, the 3 dots represent the letter S. The 3 dashes represent the letter O. Okay, and then you have the S again. So the thing is, an SOS is a distress signal. Okay. In the military, it means survivor outreach services. So long and the short is, everybody knows when they hear SOS, it means you're in trouble and we need help. Whether you're on a ship, whether you're on a mountain, whether you're in a boat, whether you're on a plane, whether you're anywhere, whether you're on the beach, it means, hey, I need help. Right? So Save Our Souls is probably the one most people know. But the thing is this, is that if you're ever in a situation, which I hope you never are, maybe you're captured, or maybe it's another type of situation that puts you under distress by a bad act, knowing what I'm going to share with you and implementing it could save your life. All right. So what am I talking about? So discover the emergency use of emojis. Now, this is really, really cool, ladies and gentlemen. You can actually use emojis, okay, to basically save your life. Well, how can we use emojis, John, to save our life? I thought you would never ask me that. So how can we use emojis as a secret symbol? Well, it's really pretty easy. So if you're trapped somewhere and you have your phone, but you obviously can't call, you obviously can't text, because they're probably going to be, over your head watching what you're doing. You can create a variety of different things that you could send out. Now, the thing is, it could be something quirky, but something you normally don't text. Maybe it would be a dog if you don't text dogs. Maybe it would be an octopus. Maybe it would be an alligator. Maybe it would be something else, an elephant. It could be a variety of things. Okay. Maybe it could be an unsmile. Maybe it could be something else. But I recommend it not being like a symbol like a face. I recommend it being something more like an animal. And the reason I say that is, if you just text like a secret animal or something, or a secret thing, it can really keep you and your family safe. All right. And it's not hard to do. Octopus, giraffe, there are some other good ones. Unicorn, mushroom, volcano. And so when you send this signal through a text to a loved one and they see it, they're not going to respond back to you except to respond back with the same icon. And then the person there wouldn't think anything. They wouldn't really catch why you're texting. They wouldn't really get the signal. Some wise people might, but most crooks won't. So this is a great way when you don't have time to say, hey, I need help, right? And maybe some bad actors know what dit is SOS, right? So we don't want to tip them off. But why not make a choice actually tonight and go to your iPhone or your mobile device and pick an emoji, one that's easy for you to get and one that your family will know that you're only going to use this in times of distress. You might choose to use this if you're at a party and you want to get picked up and you just need to just text something real quick. I recommend keeping it simple so that whenever this signal is sent, it's like a silent SOS. Now, you can decide that whenever that SOS is sent or that little signal is sent, they're either going to text you back or not. I recommend that if you are somewhere with bad actors, make sure your phone is on vibrate or silent. Because here's the problem. If somebody ever calls you, you probably are hiding your phone. You don't want a bad actor to know that you have a phone. But if somebody catches you texting something, I just text a little bunny wrapper. It's my brother's birthday, and I was wishing him happy birthday. So, and he likes bunnies. So you could play around with it, right? But I don't want you to have your phone on anything, but really it should be on silent. And you should be looking at it, is what you should be doing. Because if it vibes and it's near something, the bad actor could hear it. This is also very important, and we'll talk about this in another program when we talk more about technology and protecting ourselves from bad actors, like in the case of like a building, a direct shooter or something like that, armed shooter. We could talk more about that then. But I just want to let you know that this is really easy to do, and why not make the choice to pick yourself an emoji right now? So I could go to my phone literally right now, and I could go to a text, and I could just go to one of my texts, and I could go to my little face there at the bottom. You can see the little face at the bottom. And I could scroll up if I want. If I want to type, let's say I want to type in, I want to type in octopus. So as soon as I typed in octopus, you guys can see. I don't know if you guys can see it. Hopefully you can. Maybe, maybe not, because I have this protective screen. You might be able to see it now. Let's see. Yeah, there we are. You can see the octopus. So that's red, and it's very easy to find. And also things that you use frequently will automatically pop up. But it's very easy to just type OCT, hit it, bam, send, and somebody knows that you're in distress. You're in trouble. All right. So I hope that was viable, and I hope you guys choose to utilize this. And more likely, I hope that you'll never have to use it. But if you do use it, I hope that it actually saves somebody's life. That is the most important thing. I hope that it will save somebody's life. Now, the next thing I want to share with you guys is Kara Swisher. Do you know who Kara Swisher is? So Kara Swisher, she's sick of tech people. So she wrote a book about them. Silicon Valley's top dishes on her memoir burn book, Immature Billionaires, and whether she's actually mean or not. So yes, Kara Swisher is sick of them, but is it really because of what they did to her? Like, why is she sick of them? She's basically made this decision to, get this voice out there. And no tech journalist has built a bigger brand for herself than her. And her 3-decade career is a study in hard work and uncommon confidence. And she rose from being a reporter at the Washington Post to the Wall Street Journal's internet reporter. But I think she's trying to send a message to people that it's really about these people that don't use technology in a manner that is going to be, let's say, appropriate. So I know what you're going to ask me. So what book did Karen Swisher write? And that's a great question. So the book that Karen Swisher wrote, it's called, she wrote Burn Book, A Tech Love Story. She wrote There Must Be a Pony in Here Somewhere, about hating tech people. Because she wrote a couple books. So the one about the tech people is interesting. And it's called How Silicon Valley Tech Bros Ruined Media. Wow, that's really strong and very to the point. All right. So how many of you out there have a pet? Maybe you have a dog, maybe you have a cat or a furry friend. Well, your furry friend now can have his or her own electric door opener. Yeah, that's right. They can actually have, just like you come home on a rainy or a snowy night, you press that button and you pull right into the garage. Well, now I know your pet doesn't have they actually don't have a garage they pull into, but they have a house, right? And so understanding this, I think, is really cool. And it's only going to set you back just a little under $500. So I think this is a really cool thing. And the thing I think that's very interesting about this is that what it's going to do for people, like allowing people to have, I'm going to say, that freedom, because that freedom is really, really cool. But some companies have come out with this, and the way it works is you install this this doggy door or cat door, and what happens is the pet wears a collar, and when the pet gets so close, a motorized door opens, and the cat or dog can come right in. And people are asking, could it be a bird? Could be, yeah, it could be anything you want, but any kind of pet that you want in your house. I mean, I don't think you want an alligator. I don't think you want a bear. So it's obviously a small little door just for your pet to get in. And then once the pet has gone in, the door will shut when it gets just a little bit away from it. Same thing happens when the dog or pet leaves. As soon as they get a little further, the motorized door will shut. So a little different than a garage door opener, but I think it does bring out the same premise that the pet can have their independence. I think that is really, really cool. And as we've been talking a lot, ladies and gentlemen, about media. All right. So Instacart plans to roll out shopping cart ads on their carts. This is very, very interesting, if you ask me. So now, not only are you going to be inundated with ads around the store, Instacart is starting to pilot ads on they call them caper carts at Good Fold Holdings, Bristol Farm stores, starting in Southern California. And basically, it's a cart. It has like a little tablet in it. Then it has the little Ingenico thing where you can actually, run and pay for your transactions. And they're rolling out ads on their AI-powered shopping carts. And it pushes the grocery delivery company even further into an ever-important revenue-generating advertising segment. So while you're shopping, it can now actually give you ads about other things. So you have your cart, which shows what you're adding to it, but then also says, hey, you may also like this. I don't know. I might find that a little bit intrusive. I think that's the problem with that. And if something's intrusive, I wouldn't want it. I don't care if I'm going to save 100%. I don't like to be bothered when I'm shopping. Just like, if you go to buy a new car, at least a new car, I don't want to be harassed by somebody. Oh, well, do you need help? I'm good right now. If I need something, I'll reach back to you. I mean, somebody says, hey, when you have questions, please feel free to come back. Not a problem. But somebody keeps pestering, like, hey, did you need help? You just asked me that 10 minutes ago. Then I come back and, what color? Can you stop asking me like what I want? If I want something, if I need your help, I will ask. Okay. Right now, I just want to browse. And if you ask me once again, I'm going to leave. All right. So let's talk about something else cool. Taylor Swift. We know Taylor Swift. Well, I think this is like terrible. In December, Swift's lawyers sent Sweeney, this unscrupulous fan, a cease and desist letter saying his tracking of her jet tipped off stalkers as to her location. Let me say that again. So they sent a cease and desist letter that his tracking of her jet tipped off stalkers to her location, and accusing him of effectively providing individuals intent on harming her or with nefarious or violent intentions and a roadmap to carry out their plans. Now, the thing is this, was, Taylor Swift really in danger? I don't know. But all I know is that this college student who tracked Taylor Swift's private jet online flight back against the popular star's lawyer after they threatened legal action against him, Swift's attorney said the Jack Sweeney's next day account, where he posts the flight information for Swiss private plane, tips off stalkers. But Sweeney's lawyer says in a new letter that there's nothing illegal about what he's doing. Well, what the heck is he doing? Like, why is this even allowed? And Sweeney's website uses public information from the Federal Aviation Administration to share the flight information, as well as fuel use and emission of celebrity jets, including those of Kylie Jenner, Bill Gates. I get that there's nothing wrong with it, but why are you doing it? Like, there's got to be a reason to it. You know what I'm saying? So I smell something bad here. I'm just being honest with you. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, but I don't think that's something that I know I would like. I wouldn't want somebody to just put down where I'm going. That's like you saying, hey, you know, I was able to tie into your GPS system. And by the way, I tracked down where you're going, or I tied into your Apple phone and I figured out where you're going. That's a little scary. So I want to cover another story with you guys tonight, and that is crucial steps before renewing your Amazon Prime. First of all, I have a question for you guys. How many of you out there have Amazon Prime? Unfortunately, I do. But Amazon Prime has really taken a rise in the price. Amazon Prime is now up to almost $880. You get free 2-day shipping, and it sounds great. But guess what, everyone? Even though it sounds free, I found that it's not really free. They actually bake the price of the 2-day into the order. That seems kind of bad. So it's really not for free. And you might be saying, well, John, what else can you do? I mean, we love Amazon. They're great. Half the time, the item doesn't get there, right? So there is one thing, and I'm not for one credit card or another, but I have to tell you something I found out. It's called Capital One Shopping to your browser. It's a free tool that guarantees to find the best deals out there. And without there, I mean the whole internet, every single corner of it. And the algorithm behind it is so strong that customers already refer to it as an insane deal browser extension. The best thing is everyone can use this trick to finally get real deals again. So you might see Amazon for, let's say, one item for $150, but then find it on a Capital One reference site that it finds. It's not Capital One site, it's a site that it found through the Capital One tool for $109.00. So the only thing you have to do is add the Capital One Shopping to your browser. It's a browser app tool that guarantees to find the best deals out there. And without there, again, I'm talking the whole internet. My question is, and I'm not sure about this, is Capital One doing anything with our data? Like, I don't know if they are. I'm not 100% sure. I've used it a few times. And I got to tell you, I think it's pretty neat the way you can just, get deals. And I always thought that Amazon was the cheapest, but I got to tell you, they're not the cheapest. I mean, they seem to have the most convenience, yes. You don't get the same driver all the time. That's number one. And try to get a live human being on the phone. It just doesn't happen. Amazon actually doesn't want you to speak to a live human being. They'd rather you text. They'd rather you email. They do not want to waste their resources and money to pay someone to talk to you on the phone, which is why they want to do auto returns like pretty much automatically. When you have a customer service issue, where do you go? You go off to China or some other country, right? And when you ask these people to transfer your call to someone in the US, they get nasty. And sometimes they even hang up on you. I don't know about you, but I'm seeing this dynamic of, what's happening between Amazon pricing, competitiveness, having things first, and starting to realize that just because something's right smack in front of your face doesn't mean it's the best value, right? You've got to research things. You've got to look around. And the reason you got to do that is because you are not getting the best deal, ladies and gentlemen, by just going to Amazon. It might seem so simple. Maybe you have points on Amazon, and that's great. But you're paying $180 a year. You think you're paying for free shipping, but guess what? You're not paying for free shipping. You're actually paying for shipping in the price of the item. So I think they're kind of, I don't want to use the word lying, but I think they're not really being 100% truthful with us. I think that's probably the biggest thing I can tell you. And if they're not being 100% truthful with us, then how do we actually deal with it? I think we have to shop other places. we have to shop other places. So we talked about an awful lot tonight. And I know what you're probably saying to me as we're kind of, almost rearing out of the month here. In fact, next week, ladies and gentlemen, can you believe this? This is the last Friday in February. Then we're going to be in March. The next time I talk to you guys, it's going to be March 1st. That is like insane. You've heard me say this before, ladies and gentlemen. Technology is not good. Technology is not bad. Okay. It's how we choose to apply that technology. We're seeing lots of different things with AI popping up. We're going to see lots more cases, like we saw the big antitrust case that's coming with, DuckDuckGo and Google. And we're going to start to see that what once was okay because they were the big guys doing it, they're going to be getting in trouble. And the reason they're going to be getting in trouble is because the world's going to prove that they're actually being dishonest and deceitful, or they're actually creating a monopoly. I can tell you that you've got to think about what's going on. And you've got to know that when you choose a technology, if you go to buy something and you say, hey, gee, it's cheaper if I do this, are you giving up your privacy to get a cheaper price? If you drive a little further to get a product rather than get it online, I mean, what are you giving up? And the other question is, if something goes wrong, how easy is the customer service? The customer service at Amazon is not easy. It's like, hold your breath. How long could you hold it for? Right? It's like, I will tell you, in all the years I've been a member, and I'm still a member of them, unfortunately, it's convenience, right? But I know they're not the cheapest. So for convenience, hands down, they're good, right? I can order something up until 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock and get it the next day. But am I getting something at the best possible value? And I used to say yes, but now I say no. So a lot of times you could take a price at Amazon, you think the price is great, you could take that price into your Staples, wherever store it is, and they will price match it for you. Amazon will not price match other places. So if you get a better price at Amazon, go take it. Go somewhere and show them that printout, and they will match that price. I remember the days when I believe it was Home Depot and Lowe's would price match Amazon or the place online. Now, they will only price match themselves. Lowe's and Home Depot only price match each other. They will not price match a Walmart, an Ace Hardware, or another brick and mortar. They will only price match basically their competitors that are in the same industry. So like a Lowe's, a Home Depot, Lowe's. And I think this is telling me that they're trying to tell you that we're not going to give you a discount. So I think we as people need to realize that it's our job to always find the best value. I'm not telling you to drive all around the world, but I am telling you to get your best value. And I got to tell you how shocked I was recently to learn that Amazon is not always your best deal. All right, guys. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been an amazing, of course, you know this, privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you this fantastic evening. I hope that you will like, love, support my channel. Definitely comment below. Tag your friends, colleagues, and associates. Share this out with everyone you know on social media. Hey, give me a like on my channels. Give me a follow on TikTok. We really want to reach over 1,000 so we can start to stream there. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your evening and a fantastic week. And if I don't see you in one of my other shows real soon, well, I'm going to see you again on another JMOR Tech Talk Show. Yeah, next Friday, March 1st. Have yourself a fantastic week, and I'll catch you real soon, everyone. Be well.